By asking Vice Chair Ritchie for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely. Thank you. Please stand and join me if you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and please join us for a moment of silence. Thank you. Up next, we invite Tracy Hansen, our city recorder, to talk with us about the 2023 municipal general election.
Good evening, Board of Canvassers. We're coming to the close of the election season, and with that, the general election.
Is your mic on? I can't really hear it. Maybe I'm.
Says it's on.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, no, it might just be me. I'm losing my hearing.
I'm usually so loud, but I get up here and I get nervous. The general election was held on November 21st in accordance with state law. The Board of Canvassers shall meet. The Board of Canvassers consists of the municipal legislative body and the mayor. They're charged with declaring the candidate with the highest number of votes as elected and certifying the vote totals for each candidate. The city recorder is required to prepare a report that contains the total number of votes cast, the name of each candidate who appears on the ballot, each office that appeared on the ballot, and the number of votes for each candidate from each voting precinct, the total number of votes given to each candidate, the number of ballots that were rejected, and a statement certifying that the information is contained in the report is accurate. And then the recorder and the Board of Canvassers shall sign that report. So on the screen we have the total number of registered voters, 32,000. We had almost 37% voter turnout, which I'm still always so disappointed in, but that's actually pretty good. And then for each office, as you see, Ben Nadolski is elected mayor. For City Council at large seat C, Sean Myers is elected. City Council District 2, Richard Heyer elected. And City Council District 4, Dave Graff elected. At the bottom, a little bit more, is the summary of ballots that were returned and counted was 11,904. Returned but not counted was 194, which is about 1.6%, and actually good average for us. Returns, 68 were returned past the deadline. 101 signatures did not match the voter record. 15 were returned unsigned. 5 had empty envelopes, so people submitted their envelope but didn't put their ballot in it. And then 5 were signed by someone other than the voter. All these people are given opportunity. We have contact information. If we have an email address, they're emailed, they're called, and a letter is sent to them telling them what is necessary to remedy the situation so their vote can be counted. There are 8 provisional ballots cast, and all 8 were counted. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I would request that you certify the results.
Any questions?
Sure, I kind of do. We did not handle the election, the county did, and all these kind of things. So we're just taking this data from the county. Maybe you have a little more of a hands-on than we all do. What is the statute or the legality why a city council has to do this board of canvass? Do you understand that better than I do?
I just know it's been in code as long as I've been with the city, so 20 years. And we partner with the county. We have a contract with them. They work for us, and so you're still the body over that contract.
What would cause one of us to not certify
If you had concerns, if there were complaints that hadn't been resolved, you are welcome to go to the county, to observe the counting, to participate in that and see that process. So if you had done that and felt something was not on board or not okay, then as the Board of Canvassers, you'd have the right to question that, ask for clarification, to see if processes need to be changed or fixed. The results specifically by the districts are located here, so you can see those numbers. But they have the counting equipment is really what it comes down to, is as we don't, the cities can't afford to do that. So.
I'm sure others that are perhaps watching maybe have the same question.
Yeah, certainly. Like I said, the county has an open house usually right about the time of filing period, where you can go and see the county. There's some videos online that show what their accounting process is. And like I said, you have the right to be there, to observe, to examine the returns. If that was a concern, we could go there and hold the meeting there to actually see the counting process, that type of thing. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I highly recommend that. I've done that once for the full tour of seeing how the whole process is done and everything, and then in an election that I wasn't participating in, I just helped to, begin the process, not actually process them, but just to begin it. It's really a fascinating process.
yeah, there's lots to it. We also participate in the audit afterwards. So when we're finished, all the recorders from the different cities go and we work each other's election. We count and audit. And that's just a process that's done afterwards, just to make sure things are accurate, see if there's any other questions that people had or things that we need to change process-wise.
One question that was brought up is that there is a video record of each drop box,
Yes.
but a complaint was given to me. I can't even remember who told me, but they said there's no way to audit that video footage.
Is if you go through the state. The state has the right to have that footage. Grandma doesn't apply. The records request law doesn't apply to that. They have a right to request. So if a citizen had a complaint, if you had a complaint, you would go to the state. They would request that footage then, and then they would do that investigation and that examination.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
That's a good point, yeah, because people may want to know how to do that. Perfect. Any other questions or comments?
I don't have a question, but just a comment to Tracy and her staff. I know their title says recorder and city recorder, but I think anyone that's been through an election knows they're also election consultants and coaches. That elections and filing everything on time is sometimes stressful, and I know Tracy and her staff do a great job of making sure that everyone gets their stuff in on time and make sure that everything's correct and done. And just like tonight, if and when you do have questions, they're always there with the answers and able to help you. So I appreciate the help. Even though I've been through this a lot, I still need the help, and I appreciate all the assistance you and your team and you and your staff provide us.
We're
So
happy
thanks.
to do it. Yes.
For sure. I'm always like, just call Tracy. When people ask me questions,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, ask her.
Yep.
They know the real information. Great. Thank you. Well, I'd be happy to
Chair,
consider a motion.
Yeah, I would make that motion certifying the November 21st, 2023 municipal general election results.
Second.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Ritchie, second by Board Member Heyer to certify the election results. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and congratulations to Mayor-elect Nadolski, and I see Councilmember-elect Graft right over there too. And, of course, Councilmember Heyer. Thank you. I mean, I knew it was a nail biter for you.
It was tough, yeah.
But that must say something that people really support your service, that you
Well, thank
ran
you.
unopposed. So,
Thank you.
thank
Well, motion to adjourn.
Second.
you. We have a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. I'm going to start signing this and send it down the road here. Someone to you. Okay, just let us know when we're ready to. Janine, should we just mention that there will be a what is that, a ceremony on January 2nd at, is it 12 o'clock for the new council members
Yes, that's right.
and the
the
returning
mayor.
council members?
What time is that again?
I believe it's 12 o'clock. Put that on your calendar. All set? Okay, great. Well, welcome everyone to the City Council, the Ogden City Council meeting of December 5th, 2023. Please let the record reflect that all council members are present with Councilmember Nadolski online. Would you like to say hello?
Good evening, everyone.
And any acknowledgements this evening? I would love to acknowledge, we had such a wonderful time at the Electric Light Parade a couple weeks ago. It was a little chilly, I have to say. I wish it would have been the week later, but it was so fun to be part of that celebration, and huge crowds out there, even though it was freezing cold. And then lots of us were there to welcome everyone on the stage, so it was really fun.
I would just make a quick acknowledgement. I think we're planning to do something a little more formal, but anytime there's successes in the community, it's always exciting. And the Weber State women's volleyball team won the Big Sky Championship, so that's awesome. So kudos to them and that program.
It's great. Oh, and also I was just going to mention, isn't it wonderful that we are on the priority list for the Olympics in 2034 for Salt Lake City? So that'll be really fun too. I remember back when the Olympics were here in 2002. My daughter had just been born, and we were in Brooklyn, living in a little tiny apartment, just in the wintertime, just in the house with her, and just watching all of the Salt Lake Olympics from there. Never in my wildest dreams would I believe that I would be living here the next time it comes. So very cool. Okay, great. Well, now we have some minutes to approve. So we have the joint work session of February 2nd, 2023. Councilmember Blair.
Yes, thank you. I have reviewed those minutes and found them to be accurate.
And the joint work session of April 4th, 2023. Councilmember Heyer.
Yes, Chair, I've reviewed those and they are accurate to the best of my recollection.
And the joint work session of April 11th, 2023, Councilmember Lopez.
Yes, Chair, the minutes are accurate to the best of my recollection.
And the work session of May 2nd, 2023, Councilmember White.
Yes, Chair, those minutes are accurate to the best of my recollection, and I motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember White, a second by Councilmember Lopez to approve the minutes. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, thank you, Councilmember Nadolski. And now we have a public hearing. We invite Barton Brierley, our planning manager, to talk with us about the proposed street vacation of the northern portion of 3rd Street between Porter and Jefferson Avenue.
Hey, good evening, Chair Chaburka. This is a request to vacate a portion of a street, 3rd Street. So the area is between Porter Avenue and Jefferson Avenue. So the site abuts what was formerly a church. And 3rd Street in this area was sort of interesting. There was actually the church-owned property both north of 3rd Street and a little strip south of 3rd Street. And they had a parking lot that was in 3rd Street right-of-way itself. So the church property's since been sold, and Mr. Steve Diamond's purchased that and is proposing to develop as a subdivision. And they're proposing to realign the street by vacating a portion of 3rd Street and then dedicating a portion of 3rd Street. So basically moving 3rd Street down. So here's another aerial of that. You can see what he will be proposing, he hasn't proposed yet, but to divide the property for single family development. And then the area in yellow there, he's proposing to vacate and then move this 3rd Street to the south. Here's just an aerial photo or a street view of what 3rd Street looks like. And here are the engineering drawings of that. The current conditions, there's actually a jog in 3rd Street, and this would align it more with how a vehicle would travel. So it's a little more direct. There is a utility issue in that there is a existing Lynn irrigation canal at the southwest corner of Jefferson and 3rd Street. And as part of the project, the developer will be required to realign that because that will be where the intersection would be. One of the questions the council had is how that affect properties to the south. So there are 2 properties just to the south of 3rd Street that they have between them now this strip of kind of unused former church property. The one to the east is the home is still quite a long ways from 3rd Street, so there won't be a lot of impact on it. The one on the west actually has a driveway that's very close to that where the right-of-way will be, and has a carport right on there. So that would become non-conforming because that would be right-of-way there. However, the alignment actually wouldn't change the curb there very much. There'd still be that strip of land there because on this part of the property, the street is needed to stay pretty much in the same location to line up. It's really on the other end where it's going to jog over more. So the Planning Commission has reviewed this and recommends approval with some conditions. Mostly those conditions are that the developer will be responsible for constructing that realigned street. And so they'll have to realign the street. They'll have to get approval of construction drawings, have to do a financial guarantee for those improvements. They'll have to get an agreement with the Lynn Irrigation Company to do those improvements. So that's the Planning Commission's recommendation.
I have a question about that irrigation.
Mm-hmm.
So is this going to have to completely move the whole waterway over, or just the siphons?
Probably just that head wall.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
They probably can just reconstruct that and move it further south.
Now, I remember this particular irrigation company. They've had some problems with those, where streets or have gone over them. Will there be an inspection prior to that makes sure that this thing's still good and everything's wonderful? And because it's kind of, according to our ordinance, it's the irrigation company's responsibility to maintain them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can kind of see that this might muddy all that water issue if it doesn't get resolved ahead of that. And I see Steve back there kind of doing a little head nodding, but maybe he'll respond to that.
Yeah, you'll have double inspection. So you'll have city engineering will inspect the city improvements there. So they'll be looking at it. And they're required to have an agreement with the Lynn Irrigation Company, which would involve their inspection and then sign off on it. So it'll be.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you like to hear from the petitioner?
I would love to.
Yeah, come on up.
So can you put back on that over you like the second slide, I think, that he showed. Keep going.
Do you mind introducing yourself?
Oh, Steve Diamond. I am 5D Development. That's what the name's on this project.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go to the aerial one. Next one. Okay. So we've been working on this project since February of this year, trying to get it to this point. And in my opinion, you can see that most likely this was a mistake way back 60 years ago when the church was built. They had no need for that 25 feet on the south side. And you can see where 3rd Street from Jefferson, east of Jefferson, lines right up through there. The church has been using it for the last 60 years as a parking lot, basically parking on the city's right of way. So when we looked at it back in January before we bought the property and met with the city, and we're like, yeah, there's got to be a way to make this work and trade it and straighten it out. Interestingly enough, though, the existing right of way that the city owns east of Jefferson is only 50 feet wide. The right of way west of Porter is only 25 feet wide, but we're going to keep a 66-foot right of way through this block, basically. Even with the trade, the city-owned right-of-way will still stay 66 feet wide, which is what they have now. It's just been a parking lot instead of a road. The actual traveled surface doesn't change hardly at all. As part of the subdivision, I would pull that existing curb, move it down to basically right where the blue line and the yellow lines meet is where the new curb will go. And so the actual existing asphalt traveled surface doesn't change much, but the right of way is what's changing, the lines on the map. I do have a letter for you from Lynn Irrigation. They've given me the letter saying that they're okay with it. We've designed that head wall, and basically it just moves 14 feet to the south. So it'll be the exact same type of structure. They don't think we can reuse the current structure. It will probably crumble if we tried to just slide it. So we'll build another structure exactly like it, put it in the ground 14 feet, put it in another piece of pipe, and then it would become theirs to maintain from then on out. Technically, it travels all the way along the length of Jefferson underground. I guess the church buried it 25 years ago. It used to be an above ground ditch the whole way, but the church buried it a long time ago. But
they're probably overjoyed with you then, aren't they? Lynn Irrigation.
Well, he has no problem with me moving that head gate. They have not cleaned out that pipe in the 25 years it's been buried. But there's only 6 water users that continue to use that ditch. And so, as the years pass, eventually I would expect that that ditch will be obsolete. But they do need to maintain it now because there are still 6 active water users. It doesn't carry a whole lot of water, but it doesn't need to anymore. Right. It's actually a 36-inch pipe, but it probably only has 18 inches worth of water flowing through it. So anyway, I don't know. It was originally, I didn't feel like I should have to improve all of 3rd Street where we're just making that trade and could do everything on the north side and the city could do whatever they wanted on the south side. But engineering is telling me that no, it will be my responsibility to put in the new curb and gutter and fix the ditch and all that. So I guess that's what we'll have to do. We don't gain anything a whole lot for doing that, but it'll be a nice improved section of 3rd Street where there's nothing on either side of it. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Thank you.
Doesn't look like it. Thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing, so if you'd like to comment on this item and this item alone, you'll step up to the podium and state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. And if you are on the Zoom meeting, you can raise your hand. I see one hand online. It's Heath Sato.
Hello?
Hello, there you are.
Oh, there, okay. Hey, Heath Sato, Ogden resident. I just wanted to clarify that they are doing this development and doing some improvements and handling a lot of stuff without being given the land or big incentives. I just want to clarify that. It seems unusual that people will develop here under those conditions of having to do everything themselves. So kudos to them if they're doing that. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Chair, I'd not seen any movement or comments online. I would make a motion that we close the public hearing on this item.
Second.
A motion by Vice Chair Ritchie, second by Councilmember Heyer to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. Okay, any other discussion or questions?
Chair, that's always been a little bit of a wonky street there, and the parking lot's been kind of weird, and this makes perfect sense. I grew up in this area, so pretty intimately acquainted with it. And so I'd make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2023-70.
Second.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Heyer, second by Councilmember Blair to adopt proposed ordinance 2023-70. And before we do the roll call vote, I just wanted to respond. I don't believe this developer is getting any incentives from the city, correct? Correct.
We bought private property and is doing a development, so.
Yeah. Okay, it's a roll call vote.
Councilmember Blair?
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Lopez?
Aye.
Councilmember Nadolski? Aye. Councilmember White?
Aye.
Vice Chair Ritchie?
Aye.
Chair Chaburka?
Aye, and that passes. Thank you so much for your time and effort on that development.
Subdivision ready to submit.
Okay. Up next, we have an opportunity for public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council on any concerns or ideas on any topic. Just step up to the podium, state your name for the record, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Or if you're online on the Zoom meeting, you can raise your hand. I'm not seeing any movement here. I don't see any hands online.
There's one now.
Oh, there we go. Angel Castillo.
Good evening, Angel Castillo, OGDEN resident. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations to Mayor-elect Nadolski. I'm looking forward to the changes that are going to be brought. And I would like to ask City Council, because I haven't heard anything in work session being discussed, about what we're going to be doing for Code Blue and temperature drops with regards to those experiencing homelessness. The last couple of years, it always seems that we have been hit with a big temperature drop. We've had people die. And I'd really like to know what the council and the administration is doing to plan for that this year. We get freezing temperatures and snow every year, and we are not yet at functional zero. So I see this as a problem that we should be being a little more proactive with. I would also like to thank the City Council for making sure the last work session and this work session really digging into and reaching out to people that are in the industry and have spent a lot of time in the space of looking at housing. The market has changed radically, and I was very impressed with the quality of people that were brought in to speak. And I would like to know whether or not you all will be doing follow-up sessions with those folks, because a lot was unpacked in those meetings. But again, congratulations and thank you for really committing to educating yourselves and hearing what's happening in this ever-changing landscape. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Any other comments? Okay. I'm not sure if the administration would like to comment about Code Blue or if you want me to do it.
I can just say that it's administered by the state issues the Code Blue, and it is distributed countywide. So Ogden officials are the recipient of that notice when the temperature drops according to state law. And we do have some new guidance. Again, those changes were adopted in the last legislative session. And so we're prohibited from collecting materials, certain things, campsites and things like that. But we also keep in close communication with the shelter and make sure that there's beds available and take individuals to shelter when they are identified and need to go someplace warm. So it's a very coordinated effort, but it's now being basically administered by the county after receiving notification from the state.
Thank you. Yeah, and I heard a lot about those plans at the Open House board meeting, but I think there was an article in the paper, I think it was the Standard, 2 or 3 weeks ago that talked about the efforts of the city partnering with Lantern House and the activities that our law enforcement do outreach on the street when we have the Code Blue. to try to encourage people and even transport them to the shelter if they're willing to go and do that outreach. So I appreciate that. Any other comments from administration
No further comments. Thank you.
and council members?
I would just offer again also congratulations to those who ran for office and those who were elected. And it was a little bit stress inducing to see the signs go out, and then but also nice to know that I didn't have to do that this time around. But anyway, congratulations. It does take a lot of effort and putting yourself out there, and yeah, so yep.
Agreed. Okay, great. Well, up next, we're going to consider going into a closed session.
Chair, I'd make a motion that we adjourn into a closed session for one of the items listed.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Heyer, a second by Vice Chair Ritchie to go into the closed session. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Lopez.
Aye.
Councilmember Nadolski.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Councilmember Blair.
Aye.
Vice Chair Ritchie.
Aye.
Chair Chaburka.
Aye, and that passes. And just so everyone's aware, I don't believe we'll be coming back into this public session. So if you're online on the Zoom meeting, you can leave the meeting of your own accord, or in a few minutes, you'll be removed from the meeting as we move into closed session. Thanks, everyone, for your attendance and support.